Hi there, it's Cheryl with Caribou Country Lifestyle. I am today up potting my tomatoes. I have 16 different varieties of tomatoes and it's time to up pot them. What I've done here, I'm choosing this one because it has the least amount of tomatoes in it. I just took each of these, I guess they're 2 by 2 inch cells. And when I planted the seeds, I just dropped a bunch of seeds into each of the cells. And I'll show you, of course, some have a lot more than others. This one, I probably just dumped in what I had left, but only 2 tomatoes came up in this one. And this is my yellow tumbler. And then this is my new girl. And I'm pretty sure I put in 8 seeds and only 6 of them came up. But that's okay. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to put this tag right in here. I have some of my 3-inch pots here. I have those Jiffy Strip, and I'm putting the tomatoes in that I'm keeping in these Jiffy Strips. And then I have some 3-inch square plastic pots, and I've decided I'm going to put the ones that I'm going to sell in those. Now I do have more plastic than I have Jiffy, so I will probably only be able to put so many into the Jiffies, and then I'm going to run out, and then I'll use plastic pots for myself. So I'm just going to dump this pot of tomatoes out, and I'm just using this tray, and I'm going to dump out the pot with the tomatoes, and then I'm just going to kind of loosen the soil up and separate these tomatoes. And I've got 2, and I'm just going to tear them apart. We've got a really nice root system on these, and I've already pre-made a little hole for the roots to go down into, and then I'm just going to push them down as deep as I can into the pot. I'm going to plant them down as deep as I can, and then I'll add some soil to around those plants once I've put them in, because I'm going to press it down. Again, I'm just going to push that right down so that the soil is right up to the bottom sets of the leaves. And I'll just take some of this soil and I'll add it around my tomatoes. And so there's my first 2 tomatoes. I was supposed to do this last weekend, and I just ran out of time. And during the week, I am working, so I just don't have time. The next one that I'm going to up pot will be my yellow pear. I did the last one that I just up potted, the yellow tumbling yellow, and they're actually a nice tomato. It's a cherry tomato that you can put into hanging baskets and have them cascading over the side. So I did a yellow and I did a red last year, and I really liked both of them. But because I only had 2 seeds take, I'll be keeping both of those plants. So now I'm going to be doing the yellow pear, and the yellow pear is a really nice tomato too. It's pear-shaped, smaller version, kind of like a cherry tomato. But with the yellow pear, it is an indeterminate variety. And what that means is that it is going to be needing to be staked. And I have them in fairly big size planters on my deck. And I did just use one of those tomato cages. I don't use just a tomato cage when I'm actually doing indeterminate varieties of tomatoes. Like I have Brandywine tomatoes that I do, and because they're a bigger tomato and it is an indeterminate, I will stake those, or I should say I will tie them up. I have them growing up support panels, and I just use ties and tie them up as they're growing to it. So just going to separate these. Some of these tomato plants are, some of them are big enough to be transplanted, but or potted up, but other ones, they're still pretty puny. Like, it looks like they're just poked out of the ground. And I think because they need to have their first set of the two leaves, and some of them definitely do not. So I might just loosen up the dirt around them instead of dumping them out like I have with these ones, and then just take out the ones that are definitely have their true set of leaves. Take those ones out first and keep the other ones in the pot until the plants get a little bit bigger in size. So I am going to push these down because, again, I want them to be plant them as deep as I can. I should put this tag in here, and I will add some soil around this one. But they definitely, like most of these, need to be up potted. They're getting quite spindly, and as I was getting these pots ready with the dirt in them, and then I was having them soak up the water, I left these plants here and not under lights, but I have a patio door right there, and it seemed like the plants this morning when I came down here were like stretching over to where the light is. So I should have put them back under the lights when I decided I wasn't going to pot them up yesterday, because I was thinking about potting them up yesterday, and then I decided I would wait and do them today and do a little video. So okay, I gotta make up a couple of tags for this yellow pear tomato. I want to put another one here, and then I need one for my plastic pots over on this side. So, and like I say, I will just be selling these ones. I have a couple of people that I work with, and they are definitely interested in purchasing some of these. So these are going to go, these other yellow pear, they are going to go in these plastic pots that I have ready. I was going to go out and do some more gardening outside, but it is cold. I went over to my sister-in-law and brother-in-law's today to help them with a garage sale, and oh my gosh, it is not just cold, but it is super windy, and we're at the middle of May, and I'm like, come on, it's supposed to be nicer than this. Well, we want it to be nicer than this. Doesn't mean it has to be, but it would be nice. So anyways, okay, let's pop this in the ground. Okay. And unfortunately, I just broke this one. Oh man, I just snapped the stem right in half. I'm not going to be able to use that. So, sorry, tomato. Sorry, my little yellow pear friend. But I will add some dirt to these tomatoes. And then I will move on to the next one. Okay, so figure out which one is going to be next. I don't want to pick, I'm going to try and pick the ones that don't have little tiny ones growing with them. I think I'll do those first and get those going. This is the San Marzano, and I have not had these ones before, but they are aroma paste tomato, and I've been wanting to try them as well. And out of the 8 seeds, I have 8 plants, so that's awesome. I'm just gonna dump all of them out here, and I'll lay that down. And hopefully I don't break any of these ones off. Got to be a little more gentle when I'm taking them apart. Okay, I've got 2 here, so I'm just going to do this one at a time. And push that one right down into the dirt. And I've got another one right here. Last year I did the Viva Italia, and I planted them on my deck, and they didn't do that great. I ended up having to replace them. I had so many tomato plants last year that I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I was going to do with all the tomato plants. So I ended up giving a lot of them away. So this year it'll be nice, because if I can just sell them, then I can at least recoup some of my money that I spent on all my seeds and my dirt also. So I will put some soil around these. So hopefully these San Marzanos do good. And then I'm going to keep 3 of the San Marzano for myself, and then I'm going to sell the other 5, or I might just keep some extras in case I do have to replace some of the ones that I have, because you just never know how they're going to fare when you're hardening them off or over the growing season. You never know what could happen. So I am going to move this to over here, because now I'm going to plant some on this side. I better get my little holes made. I'm just using a tongue depressor stick. This soil is really wet, so really easy to work with. And then I'll plunk these in. Oh, look at that. They look so good that I'm so sad that I broke that one. It was not my intention at all. Poor tomato. Okay, gotta separate these ones. I still got 4 more here. Oh, there we go. I'll take this one and put that one in. I potted up my peppers yesterday, and I also potted up my green cabbage. I also did petunias yesterday, and I separated my marigolds, because my marigolds, I went and of course plunked more than 1 seed in each spot, and some had 2 and some had even up to 3 in them in the pot. So I ended up separating those and putting them into their own individual pots. but I have another, because I'm going to have so many tomato plants, that I've already started another tray of dirt with pots with dirt in it, and I have them soaking up the water into the dirt, because like I say, I have 16 varieties, but they have anywhere from 2 to 8 plants in them, and that's a lot of transplanting. So I am going to add, and I better make some tags before I go on to the next variety too. So I'm gonna add some dirt around this one, and that one had so many plants, I don't even have enough dirt to put around them. So I have lots of dirt. No, do worry. So I'll just grab some of my, this hasn't been, I did not put these ones so that it's damp, so it's still, I mean, it's drier, but I will add water into the bottom of these, and it won't take long to soak that up. And a lot of this dirt that's in here around these plants is already so wet that this dry stuff will soak right up into the wet stuff easy enough. I just want to make sure I have enough soil around them. And when I make my tags for these ones, I'm just gonna, whoops, I'm grabbing the leaf because I'm trying to go too fast. Slow down, girl. I'm trying to go too fast, and I ended up catching the leaf and almost pulling it right back out of the dirt. Ugh. I don't want to be, I'm gonna end up wrecking more than I'm planting. Okay. And I just need a little bit more here. And on this side. Okay. And I have a sprayer too. I can always spray the tops of these to get the dirt off of them also. I need a little bit more soil in that one. Okay. Okay, let's make up some more tags. I need 1, 2, 3. This is the San Marzano. I think I need like 3 or 4 tags. Marzano. I ended up potting up 18 in one flat, and then I did another 18 tomato plants in another flat. I still have a lot more to up pot, but I'm gonna wait and let some of those tomatoes get a little bit bigger, because there was a lot that have maybe a couple of tomatoes that are anywhere from 4 to 5 inches tall, but there's quite a few that are still developing, and I'd like to let them develop a little bit more before I start up potting them. I think by next weekend they'll probably be ready to up pot. So let's go take a little tour of what I have going on under my lights. I've got so many plants going on right now that I don't know how I'm going to be able to start any more seeds, and I still have a lot of seeds to start. I have all my cucumbers, my melons, I still have sunflowers. I'm like, holy, I got just way too many plants going on. I have a lot of seeds, well, not a lot, but I have a few seeds that haven't taken. So I'm going to go through my book, because I write everything down as I'm planting my seeds, and I'm going to see when I started them and when they were, how many days it took for them to germinate. And I'm going to kind of go from there, and then that'll determine what plants I'm not going to even, what seeds I'm not going to wait for any longer to germinate. I do have some that I did start, some seeds that I did start that are old, and there's a chance that they may not even sprout. So I will kind of go through things and figure that out once I go through my book, and then I'll have to start taking out some seeds that haven't started, because my space, I need it. I need every bit of space that I have on my growing plant stand. So let's go take a look. I'm going to start over here by my patio door, and these are my snapdragons. These ones over here on the right side of the tray, they're a bigger snapdragon. So what I've done is I've pinched the tops off on the plants. So I don't know if you can see there, I've kind of just pinched the top off of it. And what that will do is it will help develop. I have one right here, and I'm just going to show you. So I'm going to take the top, I'm just going to use my fingernails, and I pinch the top right off of it. And what that does is it promotes them to bush out more, and they will be a bushier snapdragon, and that's what they like. Again, I have more snapdragons on this side, and I just pinch the tops off of the snapdragons. Over here I have my leeks. I just have ran out of room. These are my Scorpio cabbage that I ended up having to separate them because all my seeds took. So I've spaced them out and separated them. Over here, these are my petunias. Same thing. I've separated them and spaced them out. Down here, I have cabbages, and next to that is the cauliflower. I'm going from left to right. Next to that is my broccoli, and then I have Brussels sprouts, and then next to those on the right, those are all different types of zinnias. In front of here, I don't have a whole heck of a lot going on, and this could be a tray that I end up just tossing the plants, or tossing out this dirt and starting some new seeds. Here I have my plant stand. It is totally full. So I can fit 16 flats of plants on this plant stand. There's 4 levels to it, and these shelves are all adjustable. So starting on the top, on the left, these are my celery, and in behind the celery I have some straw flower starting to sprout, and I also have my hollyhocks are starting to sprout now. Not all of them, so again I'm gonna give them a little bit more time, maybe another week, and see what I have going on. I might have to move them around. If you notice, I have that little yellow sticky tack in the back. Well, I've been having some issues with little bugs, black bugs, so I set that up so that it would take care of the bugs. In the front of this tray I have gazanias, and in behind that I have nothing coming up. It's the Aunt Molly's ground cherry. That's another one I'm going to have to take a look and see exactly what's going on there. I have Sweet Williams, Osteospermum, some balsam, and in the very back I have my straw flower. Next to that, these are the tomatoes that I just up-potted, and I have them on the top. And then on this tray, this is pretty much, most of it is zinnias. And then I also have this one right here. That is the cobaya. And that's the one that I have started inside by seed. Last year I tried to grow that outside, and it just didn't mature in time to set flowers. These are all marigolds, and I think the majority is the lemon drop marigolds. Basically from this front strip, that's the Cracker Jack marigolds, and then from there back, that's all lemon drop marigolds. In the front, these are marigolds, and they are a petite mix. And I ended up separating them and putting them all together. And then in behind are my tomatoes that I haven't up-potted and separated. Over here, I have my dianthus in the front. And then I have some salvia behind that. And in the very back is lobelia. These are the peppers that I just up-potted, and I have 18 pots, and they were the 3-inch pots again, and I have mostly put 2 peppers in each of the 3-inch pots. Down below on this tray in the front, I have carnations, and then foxglove, my Chilean glory flower, holy basil, still waiting for my regular basil to come up, and then I have my Nolana, and in the very back is my chamomile. Right here, this is my echinacea. So these 2 trays are echinacea, and then I have the borage on this side, and on the other side, I can't remember, rosemary. So I sprinkled some seeds on top, and I have more rosemary coming in here, another little sticky thing. Behind that is all my parsley. I have the flat leaf parsley and the curly leaf parsley. In my next tray here, I up-potted my pansies, and I've separated them all. Behind that is the geraniums, and they're getting quite big. And then in the very back, I separated my verbena and put them in their own individual pots. Here are my petunias, and I've separated those petunias, and I have the other ones over by my patio door that I had just showed you. Down below here are the rest of my peppers and my eggplants. I'm waiting for them to get a little bit bigger, and then I'm going to be up-potting those too. I'm waiting for them to get their true set of 2 sets of true leaves. In the next part here, I don't have anything growing in here, and this is the Lavaterra, and these are some old seeds, so these may not take. In behind those are my dahlia seeds that I started, and then past on this side is calendula, and I can't remember what this is. Oh, that's some more dahlias as well. And then in the very back is marigolds, and those marigolds are my boy oh boy marigolds. In the middle here I have evening scented stock, and this is Nicotiana, and they haven't been doing very well. That could be some other ones I'm getting rid of. Oh, sorry, camera. Here in the front I have my carpet of snow alyssum. Behind that is my royal alyssum, and then in the very back is my Easter bonnet alyssum. And then next to that, these are the other tomatoes that I have up-potted. So in total, I have up-potted 36 new tomatoes. So that's quite a bit of tomatoes, but like I say, I'm gonna keep a majority of them, and then I'm going to be selling them, and I'm just gonna wait for those other tomatoes to kind of get a little bit bigger, and then I will up pot those as well. That I started yesterday was I started a batch of wine, and this wine here, it's a type of it's a white wine. It's a Riesling, so it's a little on the sweeter side of wines, and it will be ready, well, in 2 weeks. I'll be filtering it or racking it off and adding more additives to it to clear it up. This wine kit takes 8 weeks, so it won't be ready until it's the middle of May. It won't be ready until the middle of July. So it's going to be nice for in the summertime. It's a nice white wine in the summertime, and yeah, I have a lot of fun doing my own wines. Okay, so I've went through my book and I've sorted out any of the seeds that haven't germinated. So I ended up removing my moonflowers, Lavaterra, the night scented stalks. What was another one? I'm giving the Aunt Molly's ground cherries a little bit more time, because in my book it has that it takes 10 to 21 days to sprout. And I did start these a month ago, so it has been like 30 something days, or 30-ish days. So I'm gonna give them a little bit more time, and if I haven't seen anything within the next week, then I'll probably end up taking those out of a tray. I removed the Astilbe pots. There was nothing in those, and Astilbe I started March the 27th. So we're going on a month and a half, and there's nothing for that. Some of my portulacas didn't take, the seeds didn't sprout. Phacelia didn't take either, and neither did the Scabiosa. So, I mean, that's too bad that those ones haven't done anything. But the good news is I was able to empty out a tray. So that is good. I'm going to get some more pots ready, put some more dirt in the pots, and then that will give me another tray to be able to get these tomatoes up potted. That'll get me another 18 pots, I think it was. So, I mean, I'm still going to have more than 18. But then once I remove those plants out of that tray, then that's going to empty out that tray for me too. It doesn't give me any more room as far as starting new seeds go. But what my thoughts are is I have some room up on my plant stand upstairs in my living room window, and that's a very bright light as well. So I think I'm going to take some of my established plants up there and put them in that window, and then I can just water them. They're growing really good, so that they'll be just fine up there in my living room window. I just need to have these new seeds that I'm going to be starting. I'd like to have them under the lights and be able to have the room on my plant stand. So that's all I have for you for today. Up potting my tomatoes and moving some plants around, and I'm wanting to start some new seeds. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you haven't subscribed, you might want to subscribe and throw a like in there if you like this video too. Thanks for joining me, and we'll talk again. Bye for now.